We are starting with a unit called Introduction to Human Anatomy and Physiology. If you have your paper and writing utensil ready to go, then you should be ready to start this lecture and take your notes. I would suggest that you use the pause button and the fast forward and rewind buttons as much as necessary so that you can get all the information that you need to from this first lecture. I'll be anxious to have you return to class and ask any questions that you have over this lecture. So let's get started. The first thing I want to go over is the two terms that, of course, will be pertinent to understand this class, which are anatomy and physiology. You need to be able to understand the difference between these two terms so that you know when we are really focusing on anatomy in our studies in the classroom and when we're really focusing on physiology. And both of these will be very important in your learning. Anatomy is when we are going to be just studying the structure and shape of the body. We're studying its parts. We find out where organs are located. We find out what their parts are. That will be anatomy. If you break that word up, ana means apart, tomi means to cut. So literally we are cutting the body into its parts to study them. Physiology is the study of how the body works or how its parts work. So physio means nature, ology means the study of. So physiology is the study of the nature of how your body functions. And something that's important to recognize is that the structure of your body often determines its function. So anatomy plays a huge role in physiology. That's why when you're born, if you happen to have problems anatomically, then it probably will also result in problems with your physiology and your body being able to function. There are different levels of organization in all living organisms, and in the human body we have 5 levels of organization that I want you to know about. The first level we're going to start with is the cell, and the last level we'll get to will be the entire organism. So let's look at each one of these a little bit more closely. The first level of organization is the cell. This is where life begins. I know in biology you spend a lot of time learning about the cell and its parts. You learned about all the organelles and their function, and those organelles carry out the function for the cell. But when you have a cell, you have life. So once you put one cell in an organism or you have multiple cells working together, you now have a living thing. The second level of organization is tissue. And as long as you have 2 or more cells working together, then you have formed a tissue in the body. And there are 4 main types of tissue in our bodies. Epithelial tissue is tissue that acts as a covering. So it would include things like your skin tissue. And it would also include tissue that is surrounding your organs or lining the internal structure or wall of an organ that is hollow, such as your stomach. Connective tissue is tissue that provides support for the body. So anything that involves structurally supporting the body, such as your bones and cartilage, would be considered connective tissue. The last 2 tissues are a little bit more straightforward on the name is kind of indicating what it does. So muscle tissue is tissue that provides movement, because of course we use our muscles to move. So you would find muscle tissue in your muscles. And nervous tissue is tissue that provides control. So it's going to form your brain and your spinal cord and your nerves and allow you to control your body and its functions. When you put 2 or more tissues working together, you get to the third level of organization, which is an organ. And you have many, many organs in your body, many of which we will be studying more in depth. So examples would be your brain, your eye, your heart, your stomach, your skin, your ear. Those would all be examples of an organ. When you put 2 or more organs together, then you have an organ system. And in our body, we have 11 organ systems that we will be learning about. Here are those 11 systems, and we will learn them, and I will want you to be able to recall them on a test, as well as be able to recognize organs from each system and be able to tell me the function of each system. So we will learn some ways in class that you can be successful in memorizing these systems and being able to recall them from your memory. I put them in alphabetical order. That usually worked best for me when I was studying, so that's how we'll have them in your notes. So we're going to go through each and every one of these. So we'll come back to that in a second. I just wanted to go through the very last level of organization, which is where you put those 11 systems of the body together and they form the whole organism. So now let's go back and look at each of those organ systems. Let's start with the cardiovascular system. It's also called the circulatory system. Some of the organs that are part of this system are your heart, your blood, and your blood vessels. And the job of your cardiovascular system is to distribute oxygen and nutrients throughout the entire body. The next system is your digestive system. It involves obtaining energy from your food that you eat and then also getting rid of the waste products. And organs would be your stomach, your pancreas, and your intestines. Your endocrine system is one that you probably haven't learned about as much or maybe even heard of before. It is all of your glands put together. And some of your glands, you'll notice, are also going to be found in other systems of your body, but they're also part of your endocrine system. Because all of your glands can secrete hormones so they can help you maintain homeostasis, which we'll talk about more in the next lecture. And it also helps you regulate what's known as your metabolism, which is the sum of all the chemical reactions in your body. So when you say somebody has a high metabolism and you're talking about, they can eat and eat and eat and they never put on weight, and then you have other people who have a lower metabolism and they can't eat as much and they gain weight from eating too much. Well, metabolism, that's all the chemical reactions. So, of course, if those chemical reactions are happening faster, then you're going to be burning up that energy. So, yeah, you probably get to eat more than a neighbor who has a slower metabolism and not suffer the problem of gaining weight. Your integumentary system includes your skin, your hair, and your nails. And the job of the integumentary system is to first act as a protective covering, so it kind of keeps water in, it keeps bacteria and other substances that could be harmful to your body out, and then it also helps to regulate your body temperature. The next system is your lymphatic system. It's also known as your immune system, and it includes your organs such as your thymus gland, your lymph nodes, and your spleen, and your bone marrow. Its job is that it returns fluids that have leaked out of the bloodstream. It returns those fluids back to your blood vessels. It first has to clean that fluid, which is known as lymph, so that it won't let any bad materials, infectious materials, back into your bloodstream, since your blood goes everywhere in your body. And so that's how this lymphatic system is involved in what we call your immunity, or the job of keeping you healthy. Next is your muscular system, and it includes your muscles that are attached to your bones that allow you to move, and it helps you maintain your posture and produces body heat. But it also would include smooth muscles and cardiac muscles that help you move materials through your body, such as your blood. The next system is your nervous system. It involves your brain, your spinal cord, and your nerves. And the job of the nervous system is to control your entire body. And how it does that is it responds to stimuli, whether they be internal stimuli or external stimuli. And then it can activate or call upon your muscles and glands to help maintain that homeostasis. Next is your reproductive system. This would be all your sex organs, and the purpose of your reproductive system is to have offspring. Your respiratory system involves your nostrils, your mouth, your trachea, your lungs, many others, and its purpose is to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide. Next is your skeletal system that includes your bones, cartilage, and joints. It has many jobs. It's going to protect your internal organs. It's going to provide a place for your muscles to attach so you can actually move. It also is where you form your blood cells, and it's also where you store minerals. Finally, we have the urinary system. This is the system that is involved in filtering your blood so you can get rid of waste material, like nitrogenous waste, your urea, your urine. You also maintain your pH balance here, so if you've ever seen those commercials that talk about pH balance, your urinary system is involved in that as well. And it regulates, of course, your water and your electrolyte levels in your body. It's going to create that liquid waste known as urine, and it's going to include organs such as your kidneys, your urinary bladder, and your ureters. So that is your first lecture on our video lecture series. Please jot down any questions that you have over the lecture, and we'll be sure to discuss those when you come to class next time.